There's something unforgettable about starting a Minecraft world with your friends, making memories, sharing adventures, and feeling like you are never really alone in that endless blocky universe. But what if one day your friend just disappeared? And when you look back at the recordings of your time together, they were never even there. What if the person you thought was your best friend never existed at all? It starts simply, just a player in a brand new survival mode. They look around and type their first message.
Do you ever take things for granted?
They begin wandering, picking flowers as they walk, and write more in chat. They explain they are using this world and channel to speak their mind and share what's going on in their life. They craft a sword, kill animals for resources, and continue collecting flowers. The video cuts. When it returns, the player opens up more.
My family moved, so I can't talk to my friends as much anymore.
They go on about the distance between them and their friends. Then something strange slips in.
They might as well be dead or something.
It's a bizarre choice of words. They continue reflecting on their old life, then type.
It's basically the same as the world ending in a nuclear apocalypse, except your friends are already dead.
It gets darker. He compares his situation to rotting corpses, to death, to destruction. Eventually, he finds a lava pool and starts throwing items into it. Of everything in his inventory, he chooses to throw away the flowers he had collected since the beginning. That's where the video ends. The behavior itself isn't paranormal, but something about it feels off. The description just says, "First video, nothing special, things will get better, right?" From that and the title, it's clear he's struggling. Maybe the flowers were symbolic. Maybe he's just depressed. Still calling his own friends dead is weird. Another oddity, when he spawned in, it was already dark and raining. New Minecraft worlds normally begin during daytime. Could the gloomy weather reflect his emotions? It seems like this is just a sad kid coping with loneliness. But that's only the beginning. He was hiding much more. The second video starts in a base. The player writes,
I did something mining earlier, but the recording isn't opening. I uploaded it to the drive anyway. The link's in the description.
But before exploring the link, we meet a new character. Find Nula. Nula hands over wood. In return, the player gives them armor and tools. He shows Nula an image of a house he wants to build, something he saw on an old Minecraft server with friends. Clearly, he still misses them. Out of nowhere, he types,
I miss them a lot.
Nula replies, "You have me." After a short pause, the player responds,
Yeah,
They keep building. Eventually, he says his mom is making him get off, and the video ends. But what about Google Drive link? Pasting it reveals a different video entirely. Not mining footage, but a 7-minute clip of a player and Nula in a completely black room. At 3 minutes and 10 seconds, he typed,
do you ever wish you could turn back time? Speak to me. Why won't you answer me?
After that, silence. He just stares at Nula. It's one-sided. Nula never moves, never responds. Back in the main video, a strange moment happens. When Nula drops an item, it vanishes instantly. The player's inventory isn't full. So why didn't he pick it up? It's a small detail, but it's strange. Nothing else major happens in that episode, aside from more talk about missing old friends. Even Nula tries comforting him by saying, "You have me." The player hesitates. It doesn't feel like a real friendship. The footage in the black room is disturbing. Nula doesn't move, he doesn't react, it's like he isn't even a person. The third episode is titled New House. The player compares the screenshot of the original house to the one they built. Then types,
Everyone kept saying people at new school will be really nice.
He crafts a bucket and a hoe. Then Nula finds him. "What's this?" he asks.
Oh, just thinking and making a farm for you.
The player replies. When Nula asks how he's doing, the player writes,
I miss being helpful.
As Nula places fences, the player keeps rambling. Then Nula compliments the farm and immediately replies, "Thanks." He replied to his own compliment. The player doesn't seem to notice. He complains the roof doesn't match the old house and wants to look for a dark oak forest. Then something happens. Right before the video cuts, something flashes outside the house window. Looking closely, it appeared where the Nula placed the fence. Poor video quality? Maybe, but it happens again. Later, the player types,
Do people make fun of your name? No, like Matthew?
the player says, people just, I don't know. Then Matthew says, this school sucks. A few moments later, Matthew disappears. The player stares at something, then we cut to a dark oak forest. He finds a village, and behind him, Matthew suddenly reappears. There's books here, Matthew says and runs off. Eventually, they reach a blacksmith, then collect the logs they need. As they return, Matthew stops and stares at something. The player investigates and sees Matthew's house completely gone. The last message of the episode.
I think there's someone else here.
Matthew's behavior is weirder than ever. He compliments the farm and thanks himself. When asked about his name, the conversation suggests the player might be bullied at school. Matthew seems to respond on the player's behalf, saying, this school sucks. Then there's his disappearance. He vanishes into the forest, no explanation, then reappears without saying anything. And what about the village? When we first see it, the houses are fine. When we return, they are all buried down. Yes, lightning can strike wood, but rain usually puts it out. Plus the player has unused flint and steel. So who burned it down? The only one left, Matthew. But why? At 6:40, fences disappear right after Matthew places them. Later, he drops dark oak logs and they vanish. This happened earlier too. Every time something disappears, Matthew was involved. When he drops items, they are gone. When he builds it, it vanishes. Even his house disappears. Then the player ends with,
Something is here.
the next episode opens with confusion. The player looks around and finds Matthew. Matthew types, have you found anything yet? The player says,
No, it could be trying to get under our skin though. It's like it's waiting to strike again to eat us alive.
it's getting darker, literally and figuratively. The player rushes to build fences. He tells Matthew to dig a tunnel. Then he builds a bunker. But when he checks the tunnel, it's gone, patched up. He looks at Matthew, clearly frustrated. But then the weird part, Matthew never patched it. At 5:37, we can still see the hole, and Matthew never leaves the player's sight. So who covered it? Is something else really there? Episode 5 begins differently. We are not seeing the player's POV anymore. We see a white hand. This must be Matthew's perspective. He watches the player from afar, but he has no hotbar, no UI. Then the video cuts to the player's POV, and Matthew is suddenly inside the house. The players start reinforcing the base and writes to Matthew.
Are you mad that your base is gone? It's so easy, just do what I tell you. You're just like Brandon. He'd sit there and listen like a statue. You would just kick down. That's all they wanted. Nothing. I do the tiniest something and they hate me. For a dark oak roof?
Matthew replies, why did you stop talking to them? You didn't even know you were moving yet. They sounded worried. Everyone you pushed, they didn't know what to say. That's not nothing. Then the screen cuts to black. One final message. That's fair. The tension is rising. The player seems angry, controlling, upset. No one listened. Matthew's reply is loaded. He says the player cut off friends before moving. He calls out the player's avoidance. Then something chilling. Matthew stares at the player. Seconds later, he's gone. At 3:42, Matthew blocks the doorway. The player punches, but Matthew doesn't react. He just walks through him. No hitbox, no collision. Matthew isn't real. Suddenly, a new character enters, Donnie Darko. The player shows him a burning village.
It's lighting up shadows with flame.
He says. Later, the player gives Donnie some gear. Time passes, then Matthew messages. Talk more, Donnie says. I'll be back, gotta feed my cats. Matthew. Be more friendly, player responds.
No.
Then, a second POV appears. Donnie uploaded his own version of events, and in his footage, Matthew doesn't exist. In the player's POV, Matthew looks like a ghost. In Dhoni's POV, he is invisible. The fences Matthew placed, gone. The path he made, gone. The item he dropped, gone. Everything Matthew touched vanished. He was never real. The only one who ever saw him was the player. In the final episode, the player and the Matthew are spying on Dhoni. The player drops items for Matthew, but again, he doesn't pick them up. In a cave, the player mines ores, never collecting them. Matthew asks, "What's it like moving?" The player pauses, then says,
It's like walking up between two worlds, like still dreaming.
he looks at Matthew, then
I just can't wake up.
in Dhoni's POV, we see the same thing but without Matthew. The player talks to no one, drops items into thin air, stares at empty space. Dhoni has no idea what's going on. Later, Dhoni finds the player at his bunker. He writes,
I woke up.
then
Do you ever wish you could turn back time?
they decide to build something new, a Henley, whatever that is. The final video begins with the player standing still, staring at his crops. After 3 minutes, he starts typing,
Do you ever wish you could have seen the future?
but he deletes the message. He finds Bonnie building a treehouse, goes inside, descends to the bunker, and there Matthew stands. They stare. Then the player places a sign.
Dear friend, I can be better this time. Goodbye.
He turns around. Matthew is gone. In his place, on the floor, are 4 items: iron leggings, a chest plate, an axe, and a pickaxe. The same ones the player gave Matthew in episode 2. He picks them up from the exact same spot. From the beginning, the Matthew was just a protection, something the player created to cope. As Dhoni arrived, Matthew faded. He turned transparent, spoke less, did less, until finally he was gone. Even Matthew's name hinted at it. Find Nulla. From Latin, nulla means nothing. Matthew was nothing, but as the player bonded with Dhoni, he no longer needed Matthew. And that's why he said goodbye. The final shot isn't a haunted village or a shadowy figure. It's of a tree house, 2 players moving on. But if Matthew wasn't real, how did we see from his perspective in episode 5? Maybe some questions were never meant to be answered.